Alright, guys. Uh, so yeah, it's been a long time since I'd done one of these. Um, as in like a month or something like that. And look at that, the power spheres or whatever it is that he shoots. They're the wrong color because our emulator's wonderful. I love them so much. Okay, fuck. Yeah, so I'm I just want to give a couple updates as well as just, mess around here and just talk. Uh, Today, the day is, well, I guess it's midnight now, so it's now Tuesday. I just had one of the most exhaustingly, horribly, painfully average days in the history of mankind, and that just that was very painful for me. I don't know why, but like when nothing happens for like 12 straight hours, I just kind of lose my mind. And that's half the reason I'm making this video because everyone else all everyone else in my life is busy and there's a lot of other stuff going on and I'm busy too, but and when I do get a break, it's very difficult to actually enjoy it because I'm just thinking about how goddamn busy I am. You know how that is. I'm sure a lot of you are busy too, Uh anyway, I just recently uploaded a video. Well, I don't know when I'm going to upload this video. By the time I do, it might not be so recent. And fuck that guy for shooting me. Number one. But yeah, last video I uploaded as of right now was my take on the donkey versus octopath situation, which, you should... Shit, am I close enough to the mic? Could y'all hear me? All right. But yeah, it was my take on the donkey versus octopath traveler situation. Which, I won't... I already said all I needed to say in that video, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Boy. Oh, and now the lums are the right color? Okay, guy. I see what you're doing. So, this, in any case, this is Rayman 2. I was recently reminded of this game when I found out that some oh, fucking... Jeez. Oh, it looks like, his projectile is now the right color again, so I don't know what was wrong with the last room that it couldn't render it properly. Oh well. Doesn't matter. Anyway, this is Rayman 2. Very, very good game. Probably one of my favorite 3D platformers. Only real problem is how linear it is in comparison to maybe like Mario 64 and Banjo-Tooie, but that's fine. Linearity in and of itself is not bad. It just does make it can make some games feel a little stale in comparison to like the 3D ones, but not did I just say the 3D ones? I meant the non-linear 3D ones. God damn it. I can't even talk straight. I'm going Liz Dexic, man. Fuck you. Yeah! Yeah, that's right. I love this game. So, it's been brought to my attention that some fans are making something like Rayman HD Collection. And, they're making, what do you call it? New models and stuff. And they're remaking this game, and I guess the first one... Well, actually, I didn't look into it so way too much. It just showed up on my Twitter feed. There's this one person I follow who's also a Mario 64 hacker, incidentally, if that's even the right word, or coincidentally. Fuck, who cares? for the life of me, I can never remember this person's name right, but I think it's SM64 Pi or something like that. I think he made Shining Stars. I really hope I'm right on that. If I'm not, you know, and I missed one lum. That's wonderful. Anyway, I think he's a big fan of Rayman 2. It would make sense if you played Shining Star. If you saw my Shining Stars 3 review, I talked about how often they took assets, or he took assets from what do you call it? This game, Rayman 2. You know, I find it funny that people would be making an HD collection, including this game, because if you know anything about Rayman 2, you know that this game has so many ports, and I don't mean that lightly. I don't say that lightly by any measure, because let's see if I remember. Okay, there's the PC version and the N64 version. Those were the first two versions that came out. Then they made a PlayStation 1 version. Then they made a Dreamcast version. Then they ported it to like PlayStation 2 as well. And then they made a Nintendo DS version. They just called it Rayman DS. And then there's a 3DS version on top of that, which as far as I could tell when I played it is just a straight port of the Dreamcast version, except way buggier. And they even made like an Android, like iOS version, like you can play it on your phone. So, you think that's enough ports? I mean, like, the second you're able to play it on your phone, I don't think you need any more, I don't think you need any more versions. I could be wrong. I mean, this is coming from an asshole who owns like 3 versions of Borderlands 2. So, I mean, call me a hypocrite, you'd be correct, probably. Well, I don't know. I mean, like, for me, well, in the case of Borderlands 2, I got it for free with PS Plus, but that was the PS3 version, which sucks because it's only like 30 FPS and 720p. And then the second time I bought it with the Handsome Collection, which is like 1080, 60 on PS4, except it's not always because, I don't know, 60 FPS on consoles kind of seems like a bit of a lie. Well, it depends on the game, you know, that's not fair to say. As someone who used to be I used to be a console gamer, you know, and I do think sometimes some PC gamers can be a little bit, I mean, obviously, objectively, if you know what you're doing when you build a PC and you have, and you saved up enough money to do it, you know, then obviously it's objectively better in a number of respects, in most respects, like graphics. Technically speaking, it's objectively better, but I mean, consoles have their advantages too, and I guess a lot of people who a lot of PC gamers might trash consoles a little bit too heavily. I mean, obviously they have their flaws. Absolutely they do. But I don't know. Certainly though, if you care about performance and stuff, you know, you probably are better off with a PC. This isn't scripted. Remember that. It might sound like I'm running in circles and contradicting myself constantly, and that's because I am, and that's because it's not scripted. And you know what? I kind of like this sort of free-form shit. Damn it. You know, sometimes it's nice not to spend like hours writing a script or whatever, and I don't know. It can be a little dumb. Oh, you guys might have noticed, but I recently got approved for monetization, which is pretty sweet. So I look forward to, you know, receiving monies for videos, even though it's probably not gonna. It's in all likelihood, it's almost. It's really not a lot of money at all. So at least as far as I am now, and that's totally fine. I mean, you know, I'm not getting billions of views, so that's how it works. And you know, I'll just keep working at it. I'll also making sure to balance with school and work and whatnot. And then it'll be fine. Yeah, colors are a little bit messed up in the actual version. That would have been orange or yellow. Just like the pyramid there. So, instead it looks blue because the colors are all fucked up. Oh well. But yeah, I thought, you know, I kind of had this thought, you know, that I'd never get monetized for some reason, but I guess dreams do come true sometimes. And, well, we'll see if I can take full advantage of it. Pick it up, you bastard. Yeah. Rayman 3. I don't know why, but I still haven't played that. I own it. I have it on GameCube, but I still have not played it. Is it good? I remember playing it for like half an hour a long time ago, and then like a bunch of other shit got in the way, so I stopped. Because I totally play that. If it's like this game, I mean, it's gotta be good, right? I mean, this game's good. So totally. I mean, unless I'm wrong, unless it's just not good. I have no idea. Oh boy. Alright, here we go. So, you know what? You know what I hate? You know what's the stupidest thing in the world? When you're trying to lose weight, you know, and you're trying to eat less and eat better, and then you turn on YouTube, and then it starts recommending you, like, Matt Stoney videos. Like, really? Come on, man. That's not helpful. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks for having my back. But, at the end of the day, you know, a lot of it comes down to pure self-control, so. And yeah, I know I missed a couple wums. I don't really care. Shit. And yeah, there's a lot of little things. Fuck you. Piece of shit. I hate this guy. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do to help with weight loss. You know, certain health foods you can eat, but at the end of the day, the biggest thing is pure self-control with regards to how much and what kind of foods you're eating, which, you know, that is the hardest part, but in my experience, it's the most rewarding part, you know? Knowing that you have risen above the temptation of pie. Shit, now I want pie. I fucked it up. Oh well. What were we talking about? Yeah, Rayman 2. So, yeah, I wasn't counting when I was listing all the ports back there, but I think that's like 8, which is just absolutely crazy. I think there might be games with more ports. In fact, I know there's Doom, which I don't even know what they were on when they were like, oh, we need more ports of this, but I don't know. They somehow put it on everything. Like, and I find that nuts. Like, crazy that they were able to put it on Super Nintendo. There's actually a really great video by, if you've heard of them, it's Digital Foundry. They look at like video game tech and whatnot, and you know, they test graphics cards and frame rates and consoles, and they test games across all platforms to make sure, you know, which one performs the best and which one has the best graphics and all that sort of thing. It's very interesting, actually, very helpful to know as well. I think my favorite part is DF Retro, which is where they go back through older games and older hardware, and they see how it performs, because it's something I'm kind of curious about. I'm sure you guys figured it out by now. I like older games. I'm not sure on short answer, I'd probably say yes, I definitely prefer older games to newer ones, but that is a bit of a gross generalization, because think about that for a minute. That means, you know, that would mean that that I prefer. Hold on, I had a good example. That might suggest that I prefer GoldenEye over Doom 2016, which is simply wrong. I don't know why or how anybody could feel that way. GoldenEye's multiplayer is fun, and that's the thing. I think even the most busted up and dysfunctional games, not to say that GoldenEye is deplorable, but it's just aged quite badly in terms of mechanics. Anyway, even games like that, which don't have extremely great mechanics, even if you play them in multiplayer, they're still kind of fun, because everybody is bound by the same mechanics. If you just play it single player, the only one bound by the crappy mechanics is you, and the CPUs are just free to just do whatever, and they're not bound by those mechanics, meaning that they can that they get away with stuff, and they can do stuff that is just not quite as easy for, you know, the player to get away with, simply because the player is bound by like bugginess and whatnot, in stark contrast to the CPU, which, you know, just does whatever it wants. But then, like, when you play multiplayer, right? When you play multiplayer, everybody is bound by the same mechanics. So you know, you can all, so, you know, one person could like go like, "Oh, that's bullshit. The fucking controller fucked up," and you go like, "Yeah, that's right. It damn sure did." And then like the next round, your controller will fuck up or whatever, and then I did not wait long enough. And then it's like, "Oh, that wasn't fair." I don't know. The point is, you know, if you're both in the shit, then, you know, it's a lot more relatable, and that makes the experience much more bearable. You know, it's you know, if you suffer alone, then that's a lot worse than suffering with friends, you know? Okay. So, Ubisoft makes Assassin's Creed now, which is a stealth game, so I'm just gonna try and be stealthy here. Sneak past these guys. Yeah. Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft, excuse me, was recently-ish had like a Steam sale where a lot of their games were like super cheap and whatnot, and they had a bunch of the Assassin's Creeds much cheaper, which is why I have Origins now, which isn't such a bad game. Hold up, I got a text. So, you know, oh shit, what was it? What was I saying? Damn it. What even was... I completely blanked out. Yeah, shit. Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft, sale. Got it. Okay. So, I bought Assassin's Creed 1 and 2. They were like $5 a pop, which, you know, That's all right. Assassin's Creed has always been a very conflicting series for me because, I mean, it's really cool. They got a lot of cool mechanics, and just the fact that, you know, you're stealthy, and why can't I hit this thing? You know, I kind of like the idea of stealth games to a certain degree. I mean, one of my favorite series of all time is Metal Gear. But Assassin's Creed kind of suffers from a lot of dumb little things. I'm not a big fan of the dialogue, I'll be honest. Like, it, sometimes it just really sucks. And sometimes, you know, it sounds like they don't give a shit at all about what's going on. Sometimes it's interesting. It's a lot more interesting when you're actually in the time period than, you know, when it's like Desmond in the Animus or whatever. Like, well, I don't know. He's just kind of, I don't know. Like, they're just kind of boring characters often. Maybe that was on purpose, or maybe I just don't know how to appreciate it. Maybe I'm just too stupid. I don't know. In any case, you know, that's where I stand on it. But maybe I'll take a look deeper into it. The gameplay, though, is actually fun. I like that, you know, running up walls and the assassination. You know, the actual game is fun. You know, when you are actually playing the game and not, you know, doing a trailing mission or, you know, talking to or watching a cutscene or whatever. I think in one of my previous talking videos, I talked briefly about how I was, how I went to Fan Expo a couple years, actually last year it would have been, and I played a demo for Assassin's Creed Origins, and I was talking to there was another guy in line. It was another game. Obviously, he was another gamer. You know, he was in line to play a demo, and I don't know. I remember he was like wearing a Rick and Morty hat. I don't know why I remember that specifically. I don't know. In any case, when we finally get to the game, you know, the kid, you know, I think he was in front of me in line, and he was asking the guy, yo, there better not be any trailing missions. If there's trailing missions, yo, fuck this game, or something like that. And I'm just thinking, okay, yeah, I mean, you can say that, you know, to your friends or online or something, but, like, you're saying that to this guy's face. You know, this poor schmuck probably doesn't even work for, like, Microsoft. Or, wait, Ubisoft. They're all the same. And you're just, like, grilling him about, like, what is it? Trailing missions. Yeah, sorry, I keep getting notifications all over the place. And, you know, I'm just thinking, yo, leave this poor dude alone, man. I mean, maybe I remember it wrong. Maybe he was being more polite or joking about it, but I don't actually know. Still, whatever. So, well, whatever. I don't know where I was going with that. In any case, there are trailing missions, I'm sorry to say. Maybe that doesn't bother you as much as it does, you know, me or, you know, Donkey. Because I have a feeling that, you know, that guy probably watched the Donkey video like I did. Of course, I'll be honest, you know, as much as As much as he grilled Assassin's Creed and as much as I could relate to a lot of the points he made, I don't think it's quite as bad as he made it out to be. There's definitely flaws and things that, you know, they should iron out, but I don't necessarily think that it's one of the worst things ever done. I will be honest, I'm not a massive fan of Ubisoft and, you know, Uplay and all that. So, I don't know. In any case, what else? Yeah, I'm asking a lot of what else, what's going on, I don't know. The thing is, like, when I've had such a boring day like this, my brain just kind of goes completely numb. Which is weird, you know. You'd think that'd make it easier to sleep, but no. Somehow my brain just stops. Somehow, even though my brain is no longer, just decided to stop functioning at full capacity just because of how boring my day was. It well, it can't just fall asleep, which is pretty stupid. Yeah, that's my problems. I have trouble sleeping sometimes. It's not important. In any case, yeah, Rick and Morty Hat Kid, Assassin's Creed trailing missions, blah. Which reminds me, you know, if you follow my Twitter, you probably saw me joke about this, but I was playing the South Park game, which believe me, I wish I could play that for my talking video, but it's pretty, you know, it's South Park, so it's kind of fucked up, and I don't, since I'm still using Movie Maker for some reason, it doesn't really have the necessary effects to allow me to censor the more heinous stuff. So that's kind of off the table. I am thinking of switching to Adobe Premiere, but that would require money. So, you know, that's one of the biggest reasons I've been using Movie Maker for so long, is because it doesn't require money. And just because I know how to use it still. Why is everything purple? Why are the graphics so fucked up? Jeez. Oh yeah, these guys just spawn infinitely. Okay, so keep walking. Yeah, I do want to start playing more ROM hacks again, but you know, the reason, you know what? I was gonna say this earlier, but I forgot. You know, I have been my upload schedule has been a bit strange lately. I'm doing there's a lot of stuff going on that I'd prefer not to talk way too much about, because I don't want to bore you with stuff that has nothing to do with video games. So, but all you need to know is that, you know, things have been getting in the way. Do I say, I have to know. Am I saying, you know, too much? I feel like it's becoming a bit of a verbal tick. Like, I say it absent-mindedly after every sentence, you know? Fuck. I just did it. I can't believe it. It wouldn't be the first time. I've had people call me out on verbal tics like that on a number of occasions. I've tried very hard to fix them, and I often do. And as a result, well, I don't know if I fixed them or if I just replaced them with different ones. So yesterday, I might have been saying, I don't know, what is the other verbal tics? Maybe I'm saying so after every sentence, which I'm probably still doing. And then I just replace it with you know. And this guy is the asshole in the biggest asshole in the fucking galaxy. What is that guy? In any case, I feel like I might be saying that kind of thing, or I might be getting developing verbal tics like that, and that's not really. Well, people start to ask questions. You know, is he okay? Is he stupid? Which, yes. Wait, no, I'm not okay, and yes, I am stupid. Thank you for asking. Oh, you prick. Oh, what? Okay. Don't grab this thing. Wait, it put me back here anyway. Okay. It's because I got the checkpoint lum. Which is supposed to be green, but it's not because everything's purple. And I don't know why everything's purple. It's probably like an alpha blending setting or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. It's the thing about emulators, you know, there's so many. I just did it. I just said, you know, man. Yeah, there's the thing about emulators, though. There's a bunch of different settings, and unless you're very inclined that way, you might not know what they all mean. I have a pretty good idea, but what a lot of them mean, but I don't know for a fact. So it's kind of, it is a little bit of a shot in the dark. So when something's really bugging me, some setting is really bugging me, you know, I said it again, I'll just turn random things on and off until it stops, or I'll Google it. I have wanted to do, I've wanted to do a review of Paper Mario, like the original one. Oh no, your trip ends here. Can it not? I have wanted to do a review, or at least a video of some sort on the original Paper Mario, but that's become very difficult because unfortunately the game doesn't seem to work properly on emulators. Like you get this weird, whenever you pause, you get this weird flickering, which maybe I'm just using the wrong emulator. Like maybe, does it like work better on, what's the other one, 1964 maybe, than it does on Project 64? I imagine it probably does. I don't know, a lot of people, projects, I mean, 1964 seems to work better for quite a lot of things, which, surprises me because I guess I'd been under the impression that Project 64 was the best one for a while. Alright. Ooh. I guess I was wrong. Or maybe it's just better for different things. I almost fell off there. Which, yeah, I imagine they all have their advantages and disadvantages. Jeez. I wonder if someone will make a patch for, like, the DS emulators to enable them to utilize, like, a control stick input. You know, I did it again. I thought about it, and I still did it anyway. And that's gonna get real annoying. Anyway, I kind of wish that they had something like that, like something that would let you use a control stick on like DS games or something like that, because, well, if you heard what I had to say about Mario 64 DS, then you'd probably know why. Control pad don't work too good. For what it is, though, like Mario 64 DS is it's a very solid game. You know, it's just very frustrating to move around in 3D space with a control pad, especially considering this game. The game was a remake of another game that revolutionized that stuff. And where the hell did he go? Isn't he supposed to show up and start killing? Alright, well that sucks. I don't know if that's a glitch or if I'm just doing it wrong. Oh well. Anyway, you know, if you have a DS, you know, I would definitely, I'd probably recommend Mario 64 DS. And he just jumped through the wall. Did you see that? This whole thing is just completely broken. I don't know, how did that happen? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to happen. I mean, I haven't played this in a bit. It's been a while, so maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I don't think he's supposed to jump through the wall like that. He did it again. Well, that's stupid. Wait, he's back there? Okay, this is... I think the game is broken, you guys. See, he's not even on the... I fucked that up. He's not even on the right platform. Like, he's barely even on that one. I'm not really sure what to do here. I think the game is just, I don't know. It's funny to watch, though. I mean, you know, glitch or not. I was pointing right at it. Come on. Well, I guess I just keep doing this until the game unfucks itself. Or maybe if I, like, completely kill myself, it'll fix. Although I kind of want to see, you know, does he come back here every time? And if he does, wait, why'd the camera move over there? Yeah, the camera just like shifted itself. Yeah, oh man, I don't know. Maybe if I just keep running off the cliff, or if I just keep letting myself, or if I just let myself die, the game will reset itself. And I turned off the frame limit, you know, and just turned it back on, like that. Did I say you know again? Yep. Okay. Let's see how this works. Let's see if this works, rather. And if it doesn't, I'll just play something else. It's a shame, because I like this game. when it works. I like this game when it works. By the way, earlier I mentioned, what was it? The 3DS version of this game, which is, as far as I could tell, a direct port of the Dreamcast version, except very buggy. It was the first 3DS game I got, and I got it on launch date with the 3DS. And it's funny, you know, I was using the 3D mode, and for some reason, there was this one polygon on Rayman that just, like, for some reason, like, just, like, I don't know what the word is, just extended out of his body and just stretched off into oblivion. And every time you jumped, you know, he would flip around and that polygon would, like, go right through your head when you were using 3D, and he just died again. So I don't know, guys. I guess the game's just fucked up. Oh well. Okay. So originally I had zero idea what I was gonna call this particular episode of what is it called? Talking. But now I know what I'm gonna call it. It's just gonna be called Talking Episode 4. Ubisoft is bad. And I'll tell you why. First of all, you already saw that Rayman 2 soft locked on me. But that was only, like, the beginning of my beef with Ubisoft today. Because I decided, you know, since I recently bought Assassin's Creed for cheap, which I think I mentioned that. I thought, well, why don't I play Assassin's Creed? Because I don't know, I think it's all right. Well, Ubisoft didn't want me to do that apparently, because no matter what, it wouldn't let me use my controller, which I don't know why. I guess I know. I don't know if it's right to blame Ubisoft, but I don't really care, because I mean, these guys made Rabbids, right? So I mean, I think they deserve whatever comes to them, good or bad. But in the case of Rabbids and that stupid Assassin's Creed thing with the controller not working, keyboard didn't work either. You know, for those of you who are going to be like, oh, you can just use keyboard controls, it's not that bad. Well, it wouldn't let me do that either, because apparently Ubisoft, who has been making games for decades now, since I don't even know when, they don't know how to program video games properly, and that's very exhausting. It just bugs me just talking about it. But even just friggin' Watch Dogs. Have you ever played Watch Dogs? It's like well, it's not, I don't necessarily know that it's horribly buggy, but I remember when I played it, it just seemed like a very unrefined version of Grand Theft Auto. And considering, like, it was supposed to come out the same year as Grand Theft Auto 5, that is really sad. Like, the graphics, I guess, you know, they're whatever. But, like, the physics and the handling of the cars, like, it felt like a PlayStation 2 game, in stark contrast to Grand Theft Auto 5, which felt a little more modern. I don't know. And of course, you know, a lot of people will say, well, Watch Dogs isn't supposed to be a Grand Theft Auto clone, and it's like, I'm sorry, but you tell me what you see there. I see a game where a lot of what you do is driving around and shooting, and yeah, there's hacking, but like, I don't know, it feels like the hacking, maybe I didn't play it long enough. That's entirely possible. In fact, it's probable if anything. But it felt like the hacking was like secondary almost. And the game itself was just very underwhelming. And a common thing I found with Ubisoft games is that, like, for some reason they don't seem to be, maybe I'm just a dick or something, but they don't, like, the stories, they don't captivate me like something like Metal Gear would. And I guess I'm talking more about Assassin's Creed when I talk about this kind of thing. Because let me tell you, like, when I had finished Metal Gear Solid 4, which was, for the longest time, like, kind of considered the conclusion of the series. You know, I was really looking for another sort of a game kind of like it, and, you know, Assassin's Creed, it's a stealth game full of weird conspiracy theories and plot twists and shit. So, you know, at the request of people who recommended it to me, I started getting into that, and it was cool, but, like, I started to realize that in stark contrast to Metal Gear, where I cared about all the characters and it was really tragic whenever something bad happened, I barely gave a shit about anybody in Assassin's Creed. You know, and I don't know, it just felt and some parts of it were just a bit predictable. Like, the second Assassin's Creed sets up anybody who's, like, related to you, like any sort of family character, you're just like, okay, they're gonna die soon. Like, there's a 70% chance that if somebody is related to your character in Assassin's Creed, that they'll just die within the first, like, hour and a half of the game. So, like, at least from what I played, I don't know. Again, you know, like Watch Dogs, maybe I haven't played enough, but I don't hate Assassin's Creed, you know that? I mean, it might sound like I'm talking a lot of shit, but I like it. I mean, kind of. But I want to like it more. You know? I feel like there's some stuff they could do that would make me like it more. Biggest problem is the lore. It's a game with such... Well, originally, it had, like, very complex, weird, bizarro lore around it. Mostly a lot of which had to do with the duality of the present day versus the past, the assassin from the past that you take control of, which that was a very interesting story mechanic. It's my understanding that they don't really give a shit about the present day anymore. And that's the other thing. I don't understand how you could possibly maintain a game or maintain such a rich and complex lore with an annual franchise. All right? Because you're pumping these things out once a year. That's not nearly enough time to map that all out. And you know damn well that, like, they're spending most of their time on, like, the graphics and the mechanics and whatnot. They, like, I mean, this is Ubisoft we're talking here, right? I mean, these guys aren't exactly high artists. Also, I don't know if I'm not 100% sure if this is true. But I thought I heard it somewhere that, like, when the first Assassin's Creed was created, the person who originally conceived the idea after creating it, was actually fired from Ubisoft, so they had zero creative control whatsoever anymore, which I don't know if that's true, but if it is, then that was most definitely an attempt by Ubisoft to ensure that instead of making a good story, they instead made sure that the story paved the way for a bunch of sequels and that kind of thing. So, sacrificing artistic integrity for money, I imagine. Even then, though, like, it wasn't, as far as I remember, horrible, but, I mean, Ubisoft is, but, like their intentions are pretty transparent. And again, you know, this could be something horribly wrong, like a horrible lie that I heard somewhere, but it does sound like something they would do. I mean, these are the guys that made you play, right? These are the guys that made that shitty PlayStation version of Rayman 2 with half of the levels missing, even though discs are supposed to be able to hold more data than like stupid N64 cartridges. You'd think the PlayStation would have just as many levels, if not more, than the N64 version, but no. But hey, at least it has that shitty voice acting, right? Gotta love that. Yeah. That's probably like the PlayStation, like as far as like multi-plats go, that's probably the PlayStation's biggest claim to fame, like the PS1 at least, is that like their version of Rayman 2 is the only one that has voice acting. And I mean actual voice acting, not like that weird gibberish shit. That was weird, the way they talk in Rayman 2. If you've ever played it, like they sound like they're possessed, and it's kind of creepy. Because naturally, possession is quite creepy. I mean, that's the devil. Oh, what the fuck? No! Are you serious? What the fuck was that shit? How the fuck did that happen? I've never had that happen before. That is awful. That's almost as bad as that time in Pikmin 2 where I separated them and let them drown whilst I was being shot at by a fucking mechanical spider, no less. Yeah, Pikmin 2 was nuts. I almost just played through that again for this video, but I didn't want to. I don't know why I'm playing through this, mind you. I generally try to do games that I haven't played on the channel. But, wait, that's a lie. That's a complete lie. I just lied to you. I'm sorry. Because I reviewed both Pikmin 1 and 2. So, I don't know why I said that. Yeah, sorry. So... Okay, but I'm not gonna fall off this time. Okay. Ah! There we go. That was ridiculous the first time, I tell you. That was bullshit. Ah, boy. But yeah, Ubisoft. Fuck you, Ubisoft. And as I was saying, with yeah, thank you very much. As I was saying, I don't understand how you can keep up such a rich lore, like that, when you're releasing a game every year. And though I haven't dug super deep into all the newer Assassin's Creed games, my best guess is that they didn't. They have not kept it up. And well, it's more than a hunch. I've heard actual Assassin's Creed fans come out against it and say, okay, Ubisoft, what are you doing? You know we care about the story. And then, like, I've heard, it's one guy, I think it was, shit, what was his name? Oh yeah, how the fuck could I forget this? Leo K. If you're interested at all in stealth games, that is the motherfucker for you. I can't recommend him enough. He's probably the biggest Assassin's Creed fan you're ever gonna know. But even he, like, has actually criticized the games and criticized Ubisoft for not giving a shit about certain elements of the story. I think specifically he's a bit pissed about present day and stuff, which I don't blame him, frankly. So yeah, Ubisoft, when even like your most devout fans are calling you out on sucking complete dick, then you gotta start asking yourself, you know, what are we doing here? What are you doing? So, you know, granted, I think Leo was a lot more polite about that, but whatever. I'm not. So. Anyway, if you're interested in that Assassin's Creed whatnot, then, you know, he has a bunch of videos talking about it. And he can explain it much better than I can, you know. Not just because he's a bigger Assassin's Creed fan, but he's also just simply smarter than me. You know, he's a lot more articulate. So, you know. Anyway, that's enough about Assassin's Creed. What about this game? Yeah, I did a review of this game in case you want to see that instead of watching this. I think of all the game reviews that I've done, and I do think quite a lot about, like, how good are my own videos actually. And a lot of the time, I guess I am my own worst critic, and, you know, I do actually get a physical, like, cringe reaction when I watch my previous videos, and wait, a physical cringe reaction. Ain't that a fucking cringy statement and a half? But I do actually, like, watch them and I go, like, why the fuck did I say that like that? Like, that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard, you know? And, but when it comes to my Diddy Kong Racing video, that's, in my opinion, one of my better ones. One of my better game reviews. Probably, if I had to recommend, you know, what my best game review ever was, it'd probably be Majora's Mask review. If, as for the worst review I've ever done, that was a long time ago for Duke Nukem 0 Hour for N64. And the feedback for that video is consistent with that. Like, everyone hated it. So, and for good reason. If you see it, it's not very good. Gladly, I that is an older video, and I'd like to think that I'm better than that now, but I'm probably not. And I know I'm gonna fuck it up again in the future. In fact, one day I'm gonna do a Skyrim review, and for those of you who saw my E3 video, you know that I think Skyrim is like a big piece of fucking shit. Like, I don't like it. I'm sorry, guys. And I just know that when I eventually make that video, I'm gonna I might lose like 10% of my subscribers. I imagine. See, the thing is, I imagine most of you guys probably care much more about both about like older Mario 64 era games / hacks, as well as more about Nintendo. But that is, I understand that's a generalization. But you know, I have noticed you guys also seem to like my non-Nintendo videos as well. Oh shit. I thought that was I thought I was on the final lap. Shit. Granted, I don't think I've done a whole bunch of non-Nintendo videos. But when I do them, the response seems to be generally positive. Granted, I don't know if you guys are just being nice and shit. I mean, maybe you are. Or maybe it's both. Maybe you're being nice and you genuinely like the video. You know, it doesn't matter. Just... yeah, so you might notice I'm a little more peppy than I was during the Rayman 2 video. Or the Rayman 2 section of the video. Oh, shit. That was me almost killing myself drinking green tea, because apparently that's really dangerous. Yeah, I actually, on too many occasions, I've actually inhaled green tea. So eventually, that probably is gonna kill me. And that's gonna suck, and I'm sure it's gonna hurt. But you know what? I made it to over 1,160 subscribers, so I think I had a good run. I mean, put that on my gravestone, why don't you? He has 1,100 subscribers. I mean, you know, I didn't think I'd get this far. So, that's great. Or as the Triceratops here would say, that's fantastic. And I'm sorry that I'm not talking way too much about this game, the actual game here. That's largely because I already said most of what I wanted to say about this game in the review, you know, as you do. So I don't really have much more to tell you guys. The one thing I will say, actually not about this game, but about another Rare game. I was originally, when Assassin's Creed didn't work, I was going to play GoldenEye, like the mouse and keyboard mod, and I got it up and running, but like whenever I entered full screen, it just started lagging to shit. For no real reason, I'm gonna have to restart this. And like, I have no clue why. I can't imagine why it would be lagging like that. I lowered the resolution to like 720p, and this is not a demanding game, you guys. It's GoldenEye. I mean, even the most basic bitch computers can run a Project 64 emulator with GoldenEye, so I don't know why that didn't, I don't know why it didn't work. I don't know why it was fucking up so much. And I very well may never know. But, in any case, what it meant is that I couldn't use that for the video. So that sucked. Still, I'm playing this now, and you know, as far as rare games go, this is probably one of the good ones. I'm thinking about making another top 10 list for N64 games, because there's actually, you know, I am actually pretty well versed as far as N64 games go, and there's a shit ton more that I kind of want to talk about. So I thought I might make a top 10 N64 games part 2 or something like that. Or maybe it'll be like top like 20 to 11 perhaps. I don't know. It's still in like, it's not even really in the pre-alpha stages, that video, yet. It's just an idea I've been knocking around in my head. The other thing is, for those of you who follow my Twitter, I do want to... What am I saying? Shit. I'm sorry. I just got finished doing some more school stuff, so my mind is a little blank, but what I was going to say is... if you follow my Twitter, you might have noticed that, or you might not have. I don't know how closely, even the people who do follow me, I don't know how closely they actually look at my tweets and whatnot, but, doesn't matter. What I said on Twitter was that after playing Majora's Mask for the billionth time for the review I did like a couple months ago, I'm considering the possibility that it might actually be my new favorite N64 game, which is very conflicting. It's a very conflicting thought for me, because that would mean dethroning Banjo-Tooie, but I don't know. And if you and Banjo-Tooie, I mentioned, was my favorite Nintendo 64 game. Was. I don't know if it still is. It's probably, if it's not, it would be a close second to Majora's Mask, which is the opposite of what I said in that older video, that Majora's Mask was second and Banjo-Tooie was first. I guess I have to play Banjo-Tooie again. Which I already know I have to do, because, well, I'm saying have to like it's a fucking chore. Like, no, it's not. It's Banjo-Tooie. It's like it's like my favorite video game ever. Or at least it was. For a long time, I would have said, without question, Banjo-Tooie was the very best video game ever. I don't know that that's true now. I don't know that I would say that now. But when I get the time, I'm definitely going to replay it so I can review it like I did with Banjo-Kazooie. And that's going to be fun. And I do want to, I think eventually I'm going to have to play all of the Rareware games on the Nintendo 64. And that even includes the more, like, lesser known or lesser appreciated ones, like Blast Corps or Jet Force Gemini. Yeah, Jet Force Gemini, that's a game I had never even heard of that game until like a couple years back. And like, I remember seeing the poster for it in Banjo-Tooie, in like Bottle's house. There's a poster for Jet Force Gemini. And I remember seeing it and thinking, okay, I don't know what that is, but it looks kind of interesting. And then I find out, like, I don't know, like a few years ago, that it's this game by Rareware for the Nintendo 64, and I'm thinking, wait, really? There's a game by Rare on the N64 that I somehow completely never heard of? What's up with that? Did people just not talk about that game? Or what? I don't know. Shit. Then of course there was Blast Corps, which I had also heard of like a little earlier on. And that one's not much of a big deal, except well, it's dumb fun. If I remember correctly, it's just like dumb fun. It's like this game where you play as a fucking bulldozer and you just destroy buildings or something. And I don't know. I mean, like that's probably the most basic video game concept you can think of, you know, just blowing stuff up, and that's what video games have always been about, just like shit blowing up and I don't know, nice graphics and fire and stuff. Man. You guys know that stupid old like commercial for like Zelda on NES with where the kids are like rapping and then the dude's like, "Whoa, nice graphics." It's like, really? Are those nice graphics? I mean, I know obviously it doesn't look good now, but did it even look that much better back then than like other games during the time? Or is that just like shit? I mean, obviously, yeah, that's just advertising tactics. Just go like, "Whoa, nice fucking whatever, buy our shit," you know? That's advertising. But I don't know. But if you want an example of a good Zelda commercial, there's this one that I can't stop watching. It holy shit. It actually every time I watch it, it almost makes me cry because of how fucking awesome it is. Because it's Robin Williams, right? Talking about it's a commercial for Ocarina of Time 3D, and I don't know, it's Robin Williams going like, "I remember the first time I saw you, you were I would have gone to great lengths to save you. I saved your kingdom. I blah blah blah, and I did all this." And then like his daughter Zelda Williams, of course, starts going like, "Dad, are you mixing me up with a princess again?" And then he's like, "Shit, how did he say it?" He's like, "Well, it's hard to tell. You're both pretty magical." Like, holy fucking shit, man. Like, how you gonna beat that? And then like the fucking Zelda music kicks in, and it goes like, "They were Zelda fans since 1987 or whenever the game came out." Was it 87 or 86 or 88? Fuck. 87 sounds right. In any case, that's how you do a fucking commercial. Unfortunately, you can't really do that anymore because Robin Williams, you know. But I don't know, like I've never seen a commercial that was so you know, heartwarming, right? I mean, like that's just not something they really do for video games. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, you know, video games aren't considered by everybody to be an art form, which is understandable. I mean, it's an ever-evolving medium, and not everybody understands it yet. It's still a relatively new medium, too. Like, it's not even really 50 years old, unless you count, like, Tennis for Two and shit. But I don't know why you would, because, like, 7 people played that game because they didn't sell it in stores because it was an MIT project. But Um, I don't know. Like most video game commercials are just like, I don't know, like shitty or generic guitar riffs, and it's like, yeah, play fucking League of Legends because it's fucking awesome because it's fucking League of fucking Legends, and it's just like, yeah, I get it. You really like League of Legends, and it's like, but yeah, you don't see like commercials like that Robin Williams Zelda commercial anymore, and I don't know, they just don't have, like, I just feel like they very rarely try to appeal to the human side of, you know, humans, right? Like, it's just like very robotic, you know, and it's just kind of dumb. And I'm saying you know too much again. You know, old habits die hard, I suppose. You know? You know? Fuck. Ah. But yeah, especially coming from Nintendo, though, I was very surprised at that commercial because Nintendo's advertising department, I mean, we all know this. Nintendo's advertising department has historically been just absolutely like a joke. Like, not a good one either. Like the kind of jokes that your parents tell you, you know? Like, I don't know. Like John Oliver. There we go. It's not funny. It's like John Oliver. So, I think, well, I don't know this for a fact, but I've heard people say that Nintendo's marketing has gotten better, at least in terms of like the Switch. You know, instead of appealing to kids and going like, "Mom and Dad really love Mario Kart," and it's like, yeah, fuck, like why would I want to buy this now? But now, like I heard they're actually showing like, I don't know, like young adults like bringing the fucking Switch with them to like Niagara Falls and like playing it on a park bench with each other or some shit. Like I don't know. Granted, that's not something I would do. A lot of that is because I'm a fucking I'm a fucking horrible monster that can't go out in the sun, but well, it's not that I can't, I just don't. So, whatever, I guess. Still, oh shit, that was fun. See, I like that. I like seeing that kind of stuff. I feel like new games, since like, in order to achieve a greater sense of realism, they go to painstaking heights to make like all the physics like super realistic, which, yeah, thanks. Sorry, Windows had to interrupt you there, and me for that matter. You know, it's dumb. I feel like the Apple versus Microsoft debate, like the Mac versus Windows debate, is really stupid. I mean, like, I'll probably almost always choose Windows just because, I mean, that's, I don't know, that's just how my mind works. And, like, most things are made with Windows in mind. You know, there's a lot of games and stuff that just doesn't work with Apple. But I will say, like, that does not mean Windows is perfect, like, by any stretch of the imagination. Like, it's probably not even like a 6 out of 10. Like, there's so much goddamn stupid shit that just gets in the way, like those updates and stuff, and among other things. Windows 10 really is just like, I don't know. I mean, it's like they gave us Windows 8 and then like they give us Windows 10, which is just Windows 8 but less bad. I don't want to say more good because that sounds positive, like, but it's just less bad. How about that, you know? So I don't know. The thing is, the reason that interfaces and like programs and websites keep changing their shit, at least I think the reason for that is because people get paid, right? People get paid to change their shit. So like somewhere in the company is a bunch of guys trying to convince like the higher ups, okay, look, you need to change this about your website, and you know, you can pay us to do that. And like they don't really care about the customers. You know, these guys are working on like a, well, I don't know. But the point is, like, these guys, like, they go out of their way. They say, okay, look, if like they say like, you need to change this about the interface and this and this and this. And then they say, well, how do we do that? And it's just like, oh, that's easy. Just pay us money. And then like, and I guess, you know, as long as somebody is keeping, just as long as it's keeping someone from being out of work, you know, I can understand that. But at the same time, it's kind of fuck you-ish. Because, like, I don't know. Like the YouTube layout, like, that shit has changed so much over the years, and the last people to know it are usually, like, the creators, and then, like, by the time they know it, I don't know, they've lost all their subscribers because I don't know, this is an absolute worst case, like, extremely horrible scenario, which is blown way out of proportion. But I mean, I like to have fun with it, so that's where I'm coming from. Ah, boy. I might just play this for like 20 more minutes-ish. I do have other stuff to do, but for now I kind of want to take a break, because like the thing is, if you work for way too long, eventually your brain starts stagnating, so you do need a bit of a disconnect for, you know, just a bit of time so you can refresh your brain, so you can come in there with like fresh thoughts, ideas, and a more clear head. Because like when you're studying for like hours, you know, shit just gets really cluttered in there, and you know, it can drive you nuts. But if you moderate it and make sure you take a breather, right, then, you know, it sits a lot better. You know, it really is like working out. I mean, you do like way too many push-ups at once, you know, you might hurt yourself. But if you pace yourself and take a breather, get some oxygen pumping around, maybe get some protein in you, then, well, then that's better. That might not be the best example, but I think you kind of get what I'm going for. It's a shame. They changed this dude's voice in the DS version. I mean, it's, that's the least of the DS version's problems, but I thought it was kind of dumb. I mean, but I don't know. Man. I gotta love winter levels in video games. They always make me... I love how winter levels are so often, like, not even just winter levels, but, like, they're also just straight up Christmas levels. Which is amazing because I do not possess the vocabulary to tell you how much I fucking love Christmas. You know, as I'm sure most of you do. Most of you who celebrate it, at least. Shit. Boy. Go for it. Ooh. I love that music, man. Like, that's something Rare never seemed to do wrong was music. Like, that's just like the one thing they always got right. Well, no, not the one thing. Actually, Rare almost always, at least back in the N64 days, they used to get pretty much everything right. I mean, like, the graphics were great, the music was damn good, the games were always fun. And naturally, that's why everyone loves Rare so much today. Well, everyone who played the games, of course. Of course, you know, if you were more on the PlayStation side of things, you probably don't really care that much. Oh, I didn't get the... oh. That was me not paying attention. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, I do have a bit of a collection going on for like older type games, and I was kind of wondering, do any of you guys own a Saturn, like a Sega Saturn? Like, because I mean, I've heard of it, and apparently it was a competitor. It competed with the Nintendo 64 and the original PlayStation, but like nobody I know ever talks about it. So like, is it just like a completely worthless console that nobody has? Or is it like the Dreamcast where it's just really good, but for some reason it just didn't sell very well? I don't actually know why that was. Why the Dreamcast flopped like it did. Well, I mean, maybe flop is... I don't know that flop is the correct word. But it wasn't, like, in comparison to, like, the big boys, you know, it wasn't successful really at all. Like, it did way worse than the GameCube did. Even though, like, it was, like, the first, like, console of the next generation. I want to say 128-bit, but I don't necessarily know that, like, they were still counting bits that way, or they still even cared about bits at that time, or if that even really matters. I'm not really 100% on all the bitch stuff, so I don't know. That's not a conversation I'm prepared to have. I did look into it somewhat. I remember I looked up like stuff about the N64 because apparently, like, you know, the N64, it's a 64-bit console, right? But like supposedly most of the games, and I think the term I think what I read was that most games still just used 32-bit data operations, which I'm not 100% familiar with that. I mean, I can, like, as someone who's like familiar with computer shit, I mean, I can wager a semi-educated guess as to what that means, probably, but like the sense I got from it was that like the idea that the Nintendo 64 was 64-bit like didn't really seem to matter that much, because like it was the 64 bits part of it was kind of superfluous in terms of I don't know, graphics capabilities or just like how the games were programmed or whatever, which leads me to believe that the only reason they made it 64-bit was so that they could call it 64-bit, because like that was like the buzzword back then for video game consoles, was bits. So I mean, it's kind of, I mean, so like, you know, they could say, oh, the N64, that's 64 bits of fucking Super Nintendo power. PlayStation only has like 32 bits, so like ours is better because bits, you know? And, you know, I guess turns out bits weren't everything. Which reminds me, I don't know, the N64 versus PlayStation debate is one of the most perplexing things in the world, because like there's no denying that the Nintendo 64 had more raw power than the PlayStation, but for some reason like a lot of the games just seem to look better on PlayStation. So it's a very bizarre situation, and I imagine it was sort of like an Atari Jaguar situation, or like, and obviously not quite as drastic, but where, what was it? Where it was just, fucking A, where the architecture was just weird and kind of difficult to program for. A lot of people, there seems to be this widely held consensus that the reason the N64 didn't always do as well as the PlayStation was simply because of the cartridges. I am very skeptical of that. Like, a lot of people say, you know, it's because the cartridges couldn't hold like high quality textures, and I'm just like, well, that sounds a bit lulzy to me. I mean, obviously it doesn't have nearly the amount of space as a PlayStation CD, but the thing is, when it comes to like what takes up space on like a video game ROM file, my understanding was that textures was actually very low on that list, and the thing that took up the most space was actually music and audio files. And this was another thing that I heard a long time ago, and I don't necessarily know that it's true, but I mean, for me, it's not that hard to believe. So, you know, with that in mind, I imagine that the whole cartridges, I mean, the graphics are worse, you know, seems a little bit of, not exactly a, not a completely sound argument. I'm not saying that it didn't contribute. It could very well have contributed, and it very well might have, but I doubt that it's like the biggest reason. And everything I've read says that, well, the N64 was just kind of just had kind of weird architecture, and there were certain, and even though, like, I don't know, something like, even though the processors were better and faster and had more RAM and shit, there were just like certain bottlenecks or something that made it very difficult to utilize the full potential of the hardware. In comparison to PlayStation, technically a much weaker system, but the architecture of it was very, very easy to use. So they could squeeze a lot more out of it a lot more easily. But again, like, a lot of this is just, I didn't write like an academic paper on this, okay? Like, this is just random shit that I read on the internet versus my own speculations. So, I mean, don't take this seriously at all. Ooh. One thing I don't like about this game is the hovercraft. I don't find it fun at all. I don't know what it is, but just like video games and water just seems like a bad mix to me. I mean, water levels in video games are always the most, like, I mean, in general, most people really dislike water levels in video games. Not everybody, but most people that I know, like, they hate that shit. Like, everybody hates the water temple in Ocarina of Time. But as I said in my Majora's Mask review, I actually liked the Great Bay Temple, you know. Sure, it was a water level, but it was a much more... It was a much better way of doing it, mostly because you didn't have to keep pausing to take off the goddamn boots. And you could just become the Zora, like, with the press of a button. Which is great, because that was the biggest problem. Biggest problem with Ocarina of Time, by far, was just the water temple with the boots. I mean, like, either of those things would have been, like, mildly frustrating on their own, but combine those two things and it's just like, go fuck yourself. Right? I mean, it's just the most awful combination of things. So, I mean, I'm glad Majora's Mask fixed that. Not to mention the Ocarina of Time 3D remake, or the Ocarina of Time remake for the 3DS. Because, like, in that one, instead of having to pause to take off the boots, you could just equip the boots to, like, one of the buttons, and you could just tap the button, and you could just take the boots on and off, like, instantaneously, like, no problem at all. And that's the way you should do it. And the very fact, excuse me, the fact that Nintendo was smart enough to do that, or, I don't know, just the fact that they did it anyway, shows that they, maybe they do listen to their fans. Maybe they do listen to their people. Which, you know, considering how many stupid-ass Paper Mario games they made, aka 2, actually, I'll be honest, I like Super Paper Mario, you know, like, um, a lot of people will say, you know, that's when Paper Mario started getting bad, but like, even with Super Paper Mario, sure, they fucked it up and they changed, well, I take that back. I don't want to say they fucked it up because that sounds, well, obviously, I mean, that has negative connotations to it. But they changed it up quite a bit. Like, it was no longer like a turn-based RPG type thing. But it was interesting. And the thing is, it had an interesting plot and, like, characters, right? And all that stuff. Not quite as interesting as Thousand Year Door, but, like, still very interesting. Like, Count Bleck turned out to be a fascinating villain. I mean, he sounds like the stupidest thing in the world. His name is Bleck, but, like, I mean, he was actually interesting. And that's something that I feel is missing from the Paper Mario games that came after. You know, it's just like the most basic bitch thing. I was like, ooh, Bowser stole all the paint. You better get it back. And it's like, fucking really? Like, how old do you think I am? I mean, like, anybody who played the original Paper Mario, I guarantee you, they're all too old for that shit, okay? They all feel insulted by that. They all feel... And I know Nintendo, I know you guys don't really care about the people that were here from the beginning. You care about those kids that play Fortnite and shit. You know, when I saw Reggie, you know, saying, I can't wait to meet you guys on the battlefield in Fortnite. I mean, it's great that, you know, they have Fortnite on the Switch or whatever. I mean, at least it means, I mean, like, a popular game on the Switch is good for them. But, I mean, I don't know, like, and obviously, you know, it's their job to, like, rope in as many new people as possible. But along the way, it kind of seems like they're trampling over their longtime fans. And granted, a lot of longtime Nintendo fans are kind of, they tend to be fairly loyal as far as I can tell. You know, Nintendo could, like, glue a Switch to a GameCube and call it a new console, and at least 1 million Nintendo fans would probably buy it. Fuck. But yeah, they would probably, Nintendo could probably get away with that. But, like, at the same time, I think people need to realize that Nintendo, you know, doesn't really give that much of a shit about like, its longtime fans. And I guess that's not news. I guess most of us already know this. But, like, whenever I just think about that, it just pisses me off so much. And I don't know why. I mean, I guess, well, shit, I don't know why. Maybe it's just straight up irrational. Still, well, no, that's not irrational. I mean, like, if, you know, if I don't know, if you're, like, a fan of something and then eventually they start acting as though they don't really care about you, then, you know, obviously that's not very flattering. Granted, they don't have they're not morally obligated to give a shit. You know, they're allowed to do that. I mean, you know, they got to make that money. You got to go out getting that fucking Fortnite money. But I mean, like, it just kind of sucks, you know? Maybe one day they'll make a proper Paper Mario game, and my controller disconnected. Okay, well, looks like I'm off to a shit start. Yeah, still haven't fixed that controller thing. Like, I don't know why it happens, but it happens. Damn it. Ooh. So, yeah, maybe one day they'll make another one. What's the deal with Nintendo taking down ROMs, by the way? Like, I heard that they did like a purge, like another ROM purge on Emu Paradise or something. Which, you know, that sucks. You know, I've gone to Emu Paradise for a lot of things over the years. I mean, at this point, I pretty much have every ROM I could want, and the truth is I have all of these games on actual N64 anyway. As I said earlier, I like to collect those, so you know, so it's not I guess I'm not really in the wrong there as far as I can tell. But I don't know. I mean, you know, I was watching this video by Some Ordinary Gamers. He's probably one of my long-time or like all-time favorite YouTubers. You know, I discovered him a long time ago when he used to read creepypastas. Now he does, well, he explores like the deep web and shit, and also talks about like really stupid YouTube video trends and stuff. So you know, I can really appreciate that as somebody who also hates stupid YouTube video trends. And I am getting fucked up here. I hate this guy. So yeah, I mean, he did a video talking about Emu Paradise closing a Nintendo, taking them down or whatever. And in the video, he said that, like, yes, obviously these companies made the games, so they're legally well within their right to take them down from emulation sites. However, if they're going to do that, they should provide an alternative to emulating the games, like selling them, you know, legally, or yeah, you know, selling them legally, like and he brought up, you know, in the case of like certain games which are like very rare and cost like hundreds of dollars and are no longer even sold by the manufacturers anymore, that's when emulation is most useful. So like, if they're gonna take that shit down, like, they gotta at least provide an alternative, because like, I mean, which makes sense to me, because like, why on earth would you take down something if like you're not even selling it? Then it's not like you're making money off of it anyway. So why do you even care that someone else would be reposting it for free? I mean, and again, you know, they're within their right, but still, what the hell? Oh boy. Yeah, so I don't know if I announced this yet at all, but I am also playing Wind Waker at the moment, and that's probably going to be my next well, it's definitely going to be my next Zelda review. I don't know that it will be my next game review, but in all likelihood it very well might be, unless a ROM hack pops up that you guys really want me to look at, which actually, now that I think about it, there is a ROM hack that was brought to my attention. It was a hack for Mario 64 DS, which is really... Shit, I missed a coin. Which, if you saw my review of that, you know how I feel about that. I mean, like, it's an okay game, but, like, fucking control pad, man. Like, D-pad. Like, how are you gonna do a 3D platform on a D-pad? I mean, like, Crash Bandicoot did it, but that was because it was like before analog sticks were even invented. So, I mean, you got an excuse there, but I don't know. I'm surprised Nintendo didn't release like an updated DS model with like a control, like a circle pad. And I'm not talking about like a 3DS here, okay? I'm talking about just like a straight up DS, but like with a circle pad. Because like, think about it, like the original DS I think came out in 2004, and then the PSP came out like kind of, I think roughly within a year, either a year or like a small number of years with the DS. Like, they were direct competitors, basically. And the PSP had a circle pad, so, you know, I kind of have to wonder, you know, why is it that Nintendo didn't just make another DS with a circle pad on it? You know, wouldn't that have been cool? That would have been great for, like, platformers and shit, I would think. And on top of that, well, I mean, that would just be kind of interesting as well, because it'd be like coming full circle. Because originally, you know, the only reason the PlayStation has control sticks is because the Nintendo 64 had one, and then like, because like, the first PlayStation controllers had no analog sticks. It was just the D-pad. But then after the N64 came out, they updated the controllers. They made these new ones with dual analog sticks, and that gave birth to well, the PlayStation controller as we know it today. So if Nintendo just like took the, actually I guess when you consider that they took it from they put it on the 3DS, then it actually did eventually come full circle. Like, even if it wasn't on the, keep spinning out, damn it. But yeah, even if it wasn't on the original DS, like it's they did eventually take it. So so that's interesting, you know. Nintendo invents analog stick, PlayStation takes it, then PlayStation invents circle pad for the PSP, and then Nintendo takes that. So yeah, it comes full circle, right? I never owned a PSP. Everyone who's owned one, everyone I know who owned one said it was like the shit. It was awesome. And I have no reason to not to believe that. I mean, It was more powerful than the Nintendo DS, so, and it had a lot of AAA support. And it had, I think you could play like fucking. Couldn't you play like Vice City on that? Sorry about that. I think I heard my phone go off. It was either that or some in-game thing. Hold on. Damn it! Why didn't he drift? Yo, fuck this game. Biggest piece of shit in the world. Actually, it's pretty good. I didn't mean to say that. Diddy Kong. Or Banjo, I guess. Yeah, I don't know anybody who plays as Diddy Kong in this game. Which is weird, because usually when I play one of these games that has like multiple characters like this, I always play as like the title character. But like, not in this game. I always just enjoyed playing as Banjo a lot more. Likewise in Mickey Speedway USA, I always played as the Goof, because you don't fuck with the Goof, man. You better fear the Goof. You know, if you don't fear the Goof, then you're fucking stupid, right? I mean, there's a difference between bravery and stupidity, you know? Not fearing the Goof, that's not brave, that's stupid. Shit, I missed the... I always miss that one, by the way. Like, every time I play this game, I always miss that one. By the way, if you guys made it this far into the video, I would appreciate it if you guys could tell me, you know, if you have any recommendations for like future games to play in the Let's Talk segment, because, you know, I don't necessarily know that, because usually I just pick random shit or stuff that I think I will enjoy playing and will be fun to watch. I don't necessarily know that you guys enjoy watching enjoy the actual games on screen, so you know, if you have recommendations, that's cool. I heard some of you watch the videos just as like background noise, you know, because you know, it's just nice to listen to in the background, because it's nothing serious. It's just shooting the shit, really. Which was kind of the goal. I might have told you guys. I think I told you guys. I hope I told you guys this earlier. Was that this is based on like the format of these videos is based. It sounds like I'm doing a lot of work, not to say stolen or ripped off of, but the fact is, I saw Yuri of Wind do videos like this where he just like talked for a couple hours whilst playing games, and I personally thought it was really therapeutic to listen to. So that's why I started doing these too. So, I mean, so yeah, I guess you could say, you know, I took his idea, but then again, I mean, I'm pretty sure Yuri of Wind doesn't have a patent on talking over a video game. Although maybe he does. I must admit, I don't know him, so he very well might. I want to get to know him. I don't know. He seems like a sweet dude. Not to mention that hair. Like, Holy fucking shit, man. I don't know why I love his hair so much. It just... He has... You know what? Fuck it. I'm not ashamed of that. Like, he has really nice hair. I wish he would upload more though. Like, that's the most tragic thing about Yuri of Wings, that like he uploads like once every 3 months. His upload schedule is like slightly more frequent than JonTron, for God's sakes. And JonTron, damn, he should upload more. I mean, I know he's got a lot of stuff going on. Apparently, and I hope I remember this right. Apparently, he proposed to his girlfriend, I guess fiance now. Unless I completely fucked that up. I don't know. Maybe I did. Doesn't matter. Shit. Fuck you. You Octopath piece of shit. I hate, you know, this boss wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for the motherfucking hovercraft. Die. That was awesome. I like the water effects in this game. I mean, it's not quite as good. It's not quite as good as Wave Race, for instance, but it's pretty damn good. Like, and by the way, speaking of water effects in video games, there's a. I think I might have mentioned this earlier in the video. There's this channel called Digital Foundry. Digital Foundry, I think that's all one word, which looks at like the technical aspects of video games, like graphics and frame rate and resolutions and all that. And they had this awesome segment on this awesome video on like the history of water graphics in video games, which might sound kind of dumb, but it's actually pretty interesting. And I want to say they mentioned this game, but I don't remember. They might not have. They definitely talked about Wave Race, because I don't know how you can talk about water in video games without talking about Wave Race. And they also they talked about a lot of things all the way up to like the current generation, and I am just a magnet for fucking up right now. I should probably just like load up on missiles and just fuck it, I'm restarting. Ah, boy. Shit. No. Okay. That's great. Now I have to restart again because Windows... it turns out Windows is in cahoots with the fucking Octopus guy. I keep saying Octopath because of that Octopath video I made. Or the Donkey versus Octopath video. You know. I hope you guys don't mind, but I'm probably just gonna keep changing the title of that video just because Donkey keeps like saying his name differently at the end of every one of his videos. I just think that, you know, I find that really funny. So like yesterday it would have been called like Donsley versus Octopath. Maybe tomorrow it's like Binky versus Octopath, or Dink Donk versus Octopath, or whatever. Just like, or that guy from The Hobbit that he keeps showing in his videos. Or I'll just call the video Steve Buscemi. Yeah, Steve Buscemi used to be like a staple here, and he still is, but like I guess I just haven't said as many Steve Buscemi jokes as I used to. Okay, fuck you now. No! Did you just call Banjo a kid? It's Banjo, man. Do you know who Banjo is? He is... You know what? Fuck this guy. Oh, well. Yeah, I don't know. I think, in any case, I think this has gone on for... Actually, let's just do this real quick. Alright. Alakazam. Yeah. Which reminds me, I've been playing Pokemon Gold on my phone. I was hanging out with a bunch of friends like a month ago, and they were all like talking about Pokemon Go, and they were all playing it, or like, I don't know, they were like showing each other their Pokemon and shit. And they're like, "Oh my God, you have an Eevee, you have a thing, and what, and you know whatever else, or whatever stuff comes after Gen 2." Because I'll be honest, that's where everything becomes blurry for me. And you know, and they ask me, you know, they're just like, don't you got Pokemon Go? And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't. And they're just like, okay, download it. And then I start downloading it, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I can just download a Game Boy emulator and a ROM of Pokemon Gold, and that's exactly what I did. And then I just started playing, like, they're all talking about Pokemon Go and shit, and I just started playing Pokemon Gold with the speaker turned all the way up, and I was the biggest asshole in the entire room, and I loved it. It was magical. So, you know, that's cool. And that's the story of how I started playing Pokemon Gold on my phone. And again, I do have a physical copy of that game, so it's okay, you know. Whatever. You know what the dumbest thing about this game is? There's a grand total of 47 golden balloons, I think. And I just really hate that because it's just such a weird number. It might sound like a minor complaint, but it's just really stupid. Like, why can't it just end in a 5 or a 0, like a number, like a normal video game, you know? But life isn't perfect. Yeah, let's go in here for a bit. Then I'll call it quits. I tell you, I wish I could keep playing Rayman 2 because I like that game. It's just a shame that it bugs out on the emulator, and I don't know, I've gotten really far in the game in the emulator before, and it never did that to me, so that's complete news to me. Maybe I just got unlucky. But oh well. I mean, it's not like Rareware would ever make a horrendous bug like that. Which reminds me, speaking of Rareware, the other day I found a comment on my first Banjo Dreamy video saying that I'm pathetic because I thought ukulele was disappointing. Like, well, I mean, if staying true to my own opinion makes me pathetic, then, you know, I'd rather be pathetic than be dishonest about how I feel. I mean, I don't know. I mean, and what do you guys think? Does disliking ukulele make me pathetic? I don't think so, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it's a funny old world, isn't it? Still, I am probably going to review ukulele at some point in the future. And just so you guys understand, you know, when I say ukulele is disappointing, that doesn't mean it's an absolutely deplorable, irredeemable video game. It's just kind of, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just a little bit disappointing. Like, I don't know. And I apologize if I'm not being particularly articulate or descriptive about that right now, but the truth of the matter is that this is just like a rambling video, so I don't have all my arguments laid out in front of me at the current moment in time, so I am in no fit state to actually defend that opinion at this immediate moment in time. But when I get a chance to gather all my thoughts together, I most definitely, I will be well within my, I will stand my ground, and I will tell you why I think ukulele is disappointing. And again, it's not bad. It's not horrible. It's just kind of lame as far as I'm concerned. And the thing about nostalgia glasses, you know, it's like, you know, some people might argue that it's because the reason I don't like ukulele is because of, like, nostalgia glasses or whatever. But, like, what about A Hat in Time? That game is amazing, and that entire game is made as, like, a tribute. A Hat in Time is a love letter to people who loved, like, those old great collectathon platformers. And you know what? A Hat in Time is fucking good. Like, it's basically undebatably good. And I tell you, I certainly love it. If you've ever seen my review, shit, I'm plugging a shit ton of my videos. I mean, it's my channel, but I don't know, something about that just feels kind of assholey, and I don't know why. I guess it's because I don't know, I always hear about these really dumb, like, these really annoying big YouTubers who are all like, yo, be sure to check out my other channel, where I talk about vlogs and I pull pranks on my girlfriend and shit, and which are totally real, you guys. I swear to God, you know, I throw flour at her at 3 a.m. in the morning, which you should never do because it makes ghosts appear or something. Or, I don't know, using a Ouija board to talk to, like, dead celebrities. Just, like, recently dead celebrities. I remember, shit, who was that? Yeah, there was, like, a while ago, or, well, not a while ago, but like a couple months back, I remember seeing shit about this rapper that had recently been killed. I will be honest, I'm not super familiar with that stuff, but apparently a lot of other people were, because this was big news and everybody was quite sad, except for this one guy who uploaded a video that it's like where he's like fucking around with a Ouija board, and he's like, I'm gonna use the Ouija board to contact this dead celebrity who just got shot and whose fans are still mourning and whose family is still mourning. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing, my man? Like, congratulations on monetizing a tragedy, on monetizing somebody's death. Like, your mother must be so goddamn proud of you for that. Like, really? Come on, man. Sorry about that. Sorry about talking about this kind of thing. I tell you, it does actually get quite exhausting talking about that kind of ridiculous nonsense and people and just the general stupidity of people. And holy shit, I have no idea what that was. So damn that. I mean, one of these days when something really tragic happens, I don't know, something that shakes me personally, I would probably make a video on it. But if I did, I would definitely not monetize it. But a lot of these guys, there are a lot of people who just don't care. They're just like, they make like a, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, some dumb thing where it's like, I don't know, take a celebrity who just like recently died, and then it's like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spin a fidget spinner for 10 hours straight in this very rare hexing ritual or whatever that will allow me to contact him. And it's just like loaded with ads. It's like the entire playback bar or whatever you call it is just completely yellow. Like it's just ads every 2 seconds. And it's just like, what are you doing, man? I mean, that's, I don't know. Still, whatever, I guess. People will be people, and people will be stupid. Ah, boy. This always seems to happen in these kinds of videos whenever I do this. Like, I start out with like very good intentions, and I'm just like, yeah, we're gonna have fun here, guys. We're gonna talk about video games. I'm gonna talk about fuck this guy. We're gonna talk about life and shit and whatever, and we're just gonna hang out. We're gonna have a great time, guys. And then like I remember something really, really stupid, and then for God's sake, this guy is an asshole. And I and then just like halfway through the video, or like towards the end of the video, I just remember something really stupid, and then like it's just like that's the rest of the video, because I guess I have a bit of an unhealthy fixation on negative things, which I know I'm certainly not the only one. I don't know that that's an excuse, probably not, but you know, it does wear on me, you know, a little bit, and I'm sure it wears on you guys too. So I apologize for that. Still, I mean, it is kind of interesting to talk about, you know, sometimes the stupidity. What the hell was that? That was stupid. Anyways, sometimes the stupidity, you know, of some people is just really it's just really fascinating to talk about, because it seems like they constantly outdo themselves with just how stupid they can be. Like, Logan Paul, apparently, I heard he was, and again, I don't know if this is true. I heard he was writing like a book or a documentary or something talking about how much his life sucks now that people are angry at him because he showed a corpse. Yeah, like, yeah, that's right. Your life sucks because you showed your impressionable young audience a dead man, like, on video and made a joke out of it. Like, yeah, you're the victim here. Like, ugh. See, it's only, I'm sorry, it's only getting worse. I just, my God, I mean, shit, I need to take a break from this shit. But I don't want to end the video on something negative, so until I can think of something positive to say, I'm just gonna keep going. Let's see. Something positive. K. Rool. Yeah. The fucking king is back, man. King K. Rool is now in the Smash Bros. Which you know, it wasn't, for some reason, like, that wasn't at the forefront of my radar. Like, I mean, I always thought it would have been cool, but it never, I never stayed awake at night praying that Sakurai would put him in. But apparently it was stupid of me not to do that because I had no idea. See, when I actually saw K. Rool fighting in the game, you know, like, it was like, holy crap, I had no idea how much I actually needed this, you know? And that was nuts, you know? And they also put Snake back in, which, that's what I'm most happy about. So what's probably going to happen is my two mains are going to be Snake and K. Rool. And maybe Fox, depending on how good Fox is in this game. I always, in pretty much every Smash game, I always play as both Fox and Mario. Like, just as a rule of thumb, I always make sure I know how to play them. Fox because he's fast and he has the reflector beam, and Mario because he has the cape, which can deflect anything. And I mean, he's not a very high tier player. Not that it really matters to me because I don't. Well, I don't want to say that I don't play competitively, but because, like, even though I don't go to tourneys and shit, like, when I play a fighting game, I want to be fucking good at it, man. Like, I want to know. Because, like, there's something different about being good at fighting games versus being good at, you know, like, racing games and shit. Because, like, the battle is won just as much in the mind as it is in just, like, your reflexes and shit. Which makes it very crazy and hectic to, like, get good at, but, like, it's also very rewarding. I remember when I started getting, like, semi-good at MK9, that was nuts. Like, that was great for me. Granted, I wasn't Evo level shit, but, like, you know, I knew a lot of the tricks, and even though, like, and even if you, like, I'm not the best fighting games player, just the you know, the fact that I know, like, I've been playing these for a while, so I know a lot of the tricks, or at least I know of them. I don't necessarily know how to do them all the time. Like, in Melee, I think I pulled off I eventually figured out how to wave dash pretty okay, and I think I successfully applied it in a match once. Like, I don't know, like I wave dashed and like I dodged a grab by wave dashing, and then I counter grabbed, like I punished him by grabbing him back and then like throwing him off the cliff, and I won the match, and it was pretty super cool and shit. Unfortunately, that was in the privacy of my own home, so nobody knows about it besides me and my brother, I guess. That's probably who I was fighting. So, that's kind of lame, but still, it was pretty fucking cool. And if I can get that good at, the new Smash Bros, that'd be sick. Of course, I have to get a Switch first. I might sell one of my testicles for a Switch at this point. I mean, just one, you know. Whichever one sucks more. I don't know. As far as I know, both of my balls are fine. I don't know. Maybe I'll sell my kidneys instead. I mean, I don't know about both of them, but maybe one. I don't know. How much does a kidney cost? It's got to be more than a testicle, right? I mean, it's either that or I could, you know, just stop eating, I guess. You'd be amazed at how much money you can save by not eating food, you know. And it was like, and you know what? Who needs food? Ah. Okay, so for those of you who are wondering why I just did that, I saw a coin and I tried to turn around and get it, and then I fell through the thing, so there was basically no way in hell I was getting that and winning, so I will say though, fighting games can be like extremely, because of the very precise nature of them, it's easy to whiff, and you know, and because of, and I mean very easy, and because of how easy it is to fuck it up, a lot of the times, you know, you're gonna get really angry and you're gonna like blame the controller. When in reality, like, fighting games are very much a get good kind of game, like, at least the good ones. I don't know about like Clay Fighter 63 1/3 or some shit like that, but good well-made fighting games, you know, they're very much dependent on skill, unless you're fighting the computers, because the computers literally just read your inputs. So, you know, it's kind of dumb. Yeah, fighting games are only really actually fun when you play them with other people. Shit. I keep drifting too long. I don't know. I remember in Mario Kart, I always got the turbo boost, Shit. All right. So as I was saying before the video cut out, and before the controller disconnected for no reason again, was when I always used to play Mario Kart, and well, I guess I still do to a certain degree, and people used to get pissed at me because I kept using the drifting. I kept spamming the turbo drift boost, whatever the fuck it's called now. And, which, you know, I'll be honest, I don't feel the least bit bad about doing that because I won most of the time. So, I mean, what's the deal? You have a problem with me winning? because I apologize for that, but you know what? That's what I do when I play video games. I just win. It's my understanding that Kaze is apparently like a big fan of. I can't remember where I saw this, but it was probably in a number of places. Actually, I feel pretty confident in saying this. That he's a big fan of Smash Melee. So I don't know. Maybe if I asked him, he could teach me some shit about being good at Smash Bros. And my controller fucked up again, and he started driving in circles because that's apparently the world we live in right now. Oh, and oh shit. I was about to say I still won, but looks like I didn't. Fine. Do it again. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe he can learn me a thing or two about playing Smash Bros. Because I mean, chances are he knows way more than I do. Are people making Smash Bros. ROM hacks? Like, I mean, obviously they're modding. They modded like. Fuck, that's a dumb question. Like, of course they are. It's Project M, right? Made by the same guy who made Doki Doki Literature Club, or at least he worked on it. I don't know. Yeah. Who would have thought, you know, you'd go from working on, like, Smash Bros. Mods to making a fucked up anime game, you know? Then again, what is Smash Bros. Besides a fucked up anime game? I mean, because let's be honest, I mean, Smash Bros. Is, like, I mean, with all the goddamn Fire Emblem characters, it might as well be an anime. What the fuck even is Fire Emblem, anyway? Like, what? Like, does that game even exist? Like, I don't know. I hear people talk about it, but I've never actually seen anybody like play the games that much. I mean, like, I own, for some reason, I have like a copy of, like, I don't know, some Fire Emblem game on the Wii, and it doesn't work. So that pretty much sums up my experience with Fire Emblem. I have it and it doesn't work. So I don't know. But apparently it's a super popular thing because, like, there's like 18 Fire Emblem characters in Smash Bros. So I don't know. Then again, I guess it's not really my place to complain about that. I mean, like, because, like, they have most of my, like, honestly, pretty much everything that I would have wanted to be in the game, besides Waluigi, who I unironically would be really interested in seeing. You know, just what they would do with that. Or if not Smash Bros, at least like something. I mean, like, he's such an eccentric and interesting, like, bizarre character. There's nobody else like him in the Nintendo universe, or in any universe really. I mean, like, he's an anomaly. He's a complete anomaly, and that's what makes him so fast. Excuse me. Ugh, shit. That's what makes him so fascinating, you know? Because, you know, he's not exactly I don't know. He's just not normal. He's not traditional. And I guess that's one of the things that makes him such a poor or a difficult fit for Smash Bros. Still, I'm sure like if they wanted to do it, they would. So the fact that they haven't doesn't mean that they can't. It just means that they don't really care. Which sucks, but that's how it is. But hey, he's an assist trophy at least. K. Rool's in there though, which I'm actually pretty happy about that. I didn't think. I thought that wouldn't happen. I thought that'd never happen. I almost wonder if Banjo will end up in Smash. I mean, it's a long shot, but considering that Nintendo and Microsoft have been slightly more friendly lately, what with their cross-platform play and shit like that. I don't know. Maybe it could happen. I always thought that like Rareware's style, like at least in terms of like the cartoony shit and whatnot, has always been a much better fit for the Nintendo platforms than really the other ones. You know, because the other ones are always like they're trying to be really badass and like, Call of Duty, you better fucking play fucking Call of Duty because look how fucking cool it is. Ah. Whereas Nintendo has always just been like, shit. Have any of you ever seen the Book of Mormon? I mean, I probably not, but it's pretty sick. Only problem is, you know, musicals cost like a retarded amount of money, so that's a thing. I seen it once in my life though, and I think everyone should see it once in their life. It's a musical by the guys who did South Park, if you didn't know, like, and it's pretty damn funny. I tell you. This is coming from somebody who just doesn't like musicals at all. Like, I just don't understand, like, as a medium or as a form of, I don't know, as a performance style or an art style. Shit, I don't know. The concept, okay? The concept of musicals, I just never really understood it. Like it's just like a movie, except they sing for no reason. I mean, like, could you just do that for anything? Like, frickin' Pulp Fiction, the musical, or Human Centipede, the musical. Goddamn. Shit, I had something for this. I lost it. Oh, this boss sucks. This might be where I end it. I mean, I'm gonna give this a shot, but I don't know. Oh, fuck you, you great big fat ass. I hate this guy. This is probably he's like one of the dumbest villains in a video game ever. Like, what's his character? Oh, he's pig, and he's fast. Like, which is weird because pigs are supposed to be fat and slow, or at least they're pigs are fat, they're not slow. Let's get that out of the way. I know for a fact that pigs can actually, if you piss off a fucking pig, like, they will chase you down, and like they'll fuck you up. At least depending on the pig, I don't know. Ooh. Shit! You know, half the reason this boss is such a bitch is because, like, there's so much water, and you're driving a car through water, which, for those of you who don't know the most basic laws of physics, Newton's first law of motion is cars in water fuck themselves with a rake. So, you know, Newton was a smart man. Damn it. I don't know why I'm doing this now. It's like midnight. Or like, shit, it's way after midnight. What am I talking about? I thought he was going to land on the ground. Whatever. Get ready. Go. Yeah, if I fuck this up, I'm gonna call it quits. No! Can I still save it? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, this boss is very punishing. It's like if you fuck up like once or twice, then the whole thing is shot, usually. I'll see if I can salvage it, but it's not looking good. Oh, maybe. Yeah, it'll be tight if I do, but I don't know. Go! Nope. That's it. Alright. Fuck you, Wisbig. Alright, thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, then hats off to you. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on an actual video. Okay, bye.